Red John and Echo had a stupid tradition every Halloween: find the creepiest abandoned house they could and explore it like amateur ghost hunters with zero budget. This year, they picked the old Whitaker Manor, a rotting Victorian mansion on the outskirts of town that locals swore whispered rhymes in dead languages after midnight. Echo, always with her oversized hoodie and notebook full of half-finished poems, was buzzing. This place is pure inspiration, Red. Imagine the metaphors I'll get. I, Red John, just wanted to survive the night. If we hear any rhyming ghosts, we run immediately. No poetic last words. Deal? Deal, she grinned, already scribbling something dramatic. They broke in through a loose basement window around 11 p.m. The air smelled like damp paper and forgotten grief. Flashlights cutting through thick dust, they crept upstairs. The first sign of trouble was the whispering. Soft, elegant verses drifting through the dark halls. In shadows deep, where silence weeps, a heart once whole forever sleeps. Echo's eyes sparkled. Red, that's gorgeous. I need to find the source. I grabbed her sleeve. That's literally how people die in every horror movie, Echo. She shrugged me off and followed the voice like a poetry addict chasing a fix. In the dusty master bedroom they found it, an ancient leather-bound book lying open on an old writing desk. The pages were filled with beautiful, handwritten poems. Echo picked it up reverently. Oh my God, Red, listen to this. I gave my heart to paper and ink. Now ink gives back what I cannot think. The second she finished reading it aloud, the temperature plummeted. The book slammed shut by itself, then slowly opened to a fresh page. New ink was appearing in real time, elegant and wet. The poem read, "Two fools have come to read my verse. One will stay, the other worse." Echo laughed nervously. Okay, that's creepy but kind of brilliant. The lights died. Then the real horror began. Books flew off the shelves, opening mid-air as invisible voices recited increasingly disturbing poetry. A child's voice giggled from the ceiling. Red John runs but cannot hide. Echo writes until she dies. I yanked Echo toward the door. We're leaving. The door slammed shut. The book in her hands began glowing with a sickly green light. Echo's eyes widened as her mouth started moving against her will, reciting lines that weren't hers. Red? It's writing about me. She read aloud involuntarily, voice trembling. Dear Echo, sweet with words so bright, I'll wear your tongue and speak tonight. Her body jerked violently. The book dropped, but her mouth kept moving, layering with something ancient and hungry. I tackled her. We crashed to the floor as poltergeist chaos exploded. Furniture slid across the room, trying to crush them. Poems carved themselves into the walls in fresh blood-red ink. One glowing line appeared above the bed. Red John will watch his friend decay, line by line, day by day. Echo was fighting hard, tears streaming down her face. Between possessed verses, she gasped, Red, it wants my voice. It says poetry lasts forever. In desperation, I did the only thing I could think of. I started freestyling the worst, most intentionally terrible poetry I could muster at the top of my lungs. Yo, Echo, don't you die tonight. We still got ramen in the fridge, all right? This ghost is whack, its rhymes are trash, your verses slap, so kick its ass. The possessed Echo paused mid-verse, looking personally offended. The book on the floor started shaking like it was having an allergic reaction to my garbage rhymes. For one glorious second, the ancient evil spirit seemed genuinely insulted by my awful flow. Echo managed to wrench back control. Red, that was the worst thing I've ever heard. I love you for it. They ran. The house fought them the entire way, doors slamming, verses screaming from every wall, invisible hands grabbing ankles. But my terrible poetry seemed to weaken it, like the ghost couldn't handle second-hand cringe. They burst out the front door and didn't stop running until they reached the car, covered in dust, blood, and bad decisions. Both survived, but the book left its mark. Echo still writes poetry, but now she has to read everything out loud immediately, or the pages start pleading. She refuses to use rhyme schemes after midnight. Red John can't listen to spoken word without getting chills and instinctively starting to rap terribly. Sometimes, when they're hanging out and the room gets too quiet, they both hear a soft, elegant whisper from the shadows. Shall I compare thee to a summer's night, when shadows eat the ones who think they're bright. They both flip off the darkness in perfect unison now. They're still friends, they're still stupid enough to explore haunted places, but they will never, ever touch another poetry book again. Some verses should stay buried forever.